I know I look a hot mess, but this is one of the videos that I've received several questions about. So I figured, hey, why not take y'all behind the scenes of how I create an embroidered hair bonnet? So come along and let's get this done. Okay, so first I have a software called Embrilliance. And using that software, I got this design made specifically for my hair bonnets. So you're not going to find it on Etsy unless the person I paid to create one for me actually, sold it, but they shouldn't have. Anyways, this is a design I had commissioned for me, and it is basically what you would call a split embroidered letter. So it's floral. It gives enough room to put a name. So I sold this and now I'm going to go ahead and customize it. My machine currently operates, uses a 5x7 hoop. It has the option to go 5x12. So, but this design itself is just about a little over 5x5. So I am just adjusting the size here to make sure that it fits the box. As you can see there, I did flip it over because the letter V is a little longer than it is wider. So I make some adjustments there. And then I'm going to go ahead and play around with the font. I know the fonts I use for the for the ad or when I place this on my Etsy store. So I'm going to just try to make sure that I match it, or I look for one that is just that's appropriate. Or if this buyer has requested a specific font, I will use that here. So in this case, they requested the standard font, which is what I'm doing here, and I will adjust the color. I don't worry so much about the color here because even though it has a color that saves onto your thumb drive, you can just ignore it when you get it. You load this design onto your machine, so don't feel like it's something you have to stick with through everything. So now I'm just going ahead and playing around with some font styles just to see which one actually works. And then when I'm done with that, I will go ahead and adjust the size, the height, the width, the space in between the letters. That's part of why embroidered hair bonnets cost extra. It's not like something you can just go to the store and get. So there's actually work behind the scenes that goes into it. So I'm just trying to make sure that it looks right. And there's a lot of playing around with different things to make sure that when it comes out, it stitches out just right. So this is the final letters or font style that I'm going with. And then I'm going to make sure that if it's too wide, I adjust it. I make sure it's centered. And then if this is not a tutorial on how to use Embrilliance because there's several videos out there. If you want me to actually do one, please let me know. I have the basic or the standard version of Embrilliance, as in I paid for just the first level, not necessarily the other ones. And that allows me to do a lot since I am not looking to become an Embrilliance designer. I don't need that. So now I've gone ahead and attached the design. So if you use a Cricut, it's called attachment, or you can just merge it together. And that's what I'm doing here so that everything is now all together. It doesn't feel like it's separate. And since I'm using just one color, that works out just perfect. So now once I'm done, I'm going to transfer that design onto my thumb drive and then load my thumb drive onto my machine. My machine is an SE 1900. It has all the stitches at the top, and it does not have Wi-Fi. So I do need a thumb drive to transfer the design onto the machine. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and load the thread. As you can see there, I'm using, I think this is gold. It is a gold thread. So I had to look at that because I'm like, wait, that doesn't look right. It is a gold thread, and that's basically what the buyer requested. So I will use that over the hair bonnet or on the satin hair bonnet. And then I'm just going to also adjust the bobbin thread. So I know right there you're seeing a red thread, but it's not going to be red. And I'm going to go ahead and select my design off of my thumb drive. This is the part that takes quite a bit because if you have a lot of files loaded on your thumb drive, it does take a while for it to for your folders to come up. So now I'm just going to go look at the folders. I promised myself when I did a live yesterday that I will go and sort the files on my thumb drive because they're not properly sorted. And yeah, I'll get that done at some point. Anyways, now back to my the cutting mat. Here's where I get to cut the I can't even talk, the bonnet, the satin. And this is a predetermined size. I know the size I use. I've been doing bonnets for several years now and selling them on my site and on Etsy. So I know how to do it. And yes, that going back and doing that little click there, cut there with my rotary cutter does mean that my blade is due to be changed. I have a video here that shows you how to do that. Anyways, I am trying to identify the center, which I just did. That's why I kind of, did the crease in the middle there. And now I'm going to go ahead and hoop my machine, put everything on the hoop. So I'm going to use that, come up with the center of it. The X marks the spot, which is and then I use this little map thingy. Don't ask me for the names of everything. I just know how I do it. I don't necessarily need to know the names, but if I was teaching a class, I promise you I would know the names. But since I'm just narrating how I'm doing this, I figured, hey, you don't really care about it. You just want to see the behind the scenes process. So this is what I'm doing here. Um, I want to make sure that the X that I just created is in the center of the hole there. And then I'm going to make sure that the cutaway stabilizer, which is what I'm using, I'm not using tearaway because this is something that's going to be worn over and over and going to wash them off multiple times. I need to make sure that it is cutaway stabilizer, which is more long lasting. Now I'm going to load my hoop onto my machine, making sure that no part of the satin is caught underneath. So I do use clips to clip that, and I will, tag the clips here so you know which ones I'm using. These are slightly bigger than the regular ones that you see me use for my sewing projects. I need them bigger so that they actually hold things out of the way. They're also good that in the sense that it wouldn't snag or cause a rip or tear in my satin, which is very soft. Anyways, this is done stitching. No, I was not going to take you through the entire 40 minutes of this stitching, but again, this is why embroidered hair bonnets cost extra, because it does take extra time. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off the excess threads all around it to make sure that it looks crisp and clean. I know some people go back and use like a cigarette burner. I'm not a fan of that because I feel like it will smell funny, and I have a very sensitive nose when it comes to smelling things. So that's not necessarily something I would do. Yeah. So in any case, this is just taking everything out, all the loose threads. There's some threads, what's also called jump threads, um, for the design. So these are jump threads here, and I'm just taking that out. And then now I can go ahead and take this off of the hoop. I'm going to take off any other thing that's left on the back end. Now, this is not necessary because it's going to be on the inside of the hair bonnet, but I do this. And let me explain why. Because thread does have a way of sometimes, like, getting through material, and then at some point it gets snagged or something, and I don't want it to eventually come out and ruin the design or whatever. So I do try to make sure that the back is just as neat and it doesn't create any potential problems in the future coming through anything, and then someone pulls it and it takes off everything. I mean, an embroidered design should stick pretty well, and the one, as a matter of fact, the one I'm wearing right now, as I do the voiceover, I've had for years. But you just never know, it will be that one time you don't do it that it creates problems. So this is what it looks like. And then now I'm going to go ahead and just, create my sandwich. I love, if you've been following me for a while, just about everything I say, it's a sandwich. It's a sandwich. You would think I eat a lot of sandwiches. I don't. But most sewing projects are sandwiches. So that's how I like to describe it. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and sew this. If you're not already doing so, please like, share, and follow. Thanks for watching.